morning, everybody. Today in business law, module number 1, video number 8, we will see the competency of parties to a contract. Now, whenever we are entering into any contract, at that point of time, there are two or more parties involved in this kind of contracts, wherein this topic covers with whom we can enter into contract or with whom we can sign the contract or agreement, and with whom we cannot sign the agreement, which is valid, invalid, all those things we should see in this video. Now, the section 10 of Indian Contract Act says that the essential ingredients of a valid contract is that the contracting parties must be competent. Competent means those parties with whom we can enter into contract. Okay, so these parties we should see. Now, with whom we can enter into contract? Number one, who has attained the age of majority. Majority in the sense minimum 18 age according to the law. After that, who is of sound mind, who don't have any mental issues, okay, who is of sound mind. And after that, one person who is not disqualified by any law. Okay, so these people or these persons are competent to be or to enter into a contract. Now, section 11 of Indian Contract Act says that every person is competent to contract. Each and every individual is competent enough or capable enough or eligible enough to enter into contract, who is of age of majority according to the law to which he is subject. Now, any person in India, 18 is the minimum age to enter into any contract. So, a person who is who has attained 18 age, or in case some minor has been appointed for some property, at that point of time 21 age would be the required age. So here a person who is of age of major, and after that who is of sound mind and is not disqualified from contracting by any law to which he is subject. Now, if any person who is disqualified, for example, it may be Vijay Mallya, Mehul Choksi, all these parties or these people are, say, disqualified by law from entering into contract. So here, when one person is disqualified or being banned by the law, at that point of time we cannot enter into contract with such people. Okay, so these three basic things according to section 11 of Indian Contract Act, which are those: number one, the person should be who is of a age of majority according to the law to which he belongs or to which he is subject. After that, who is of sound mind, and third thing is who is not disqualified from by any law to which he is subject. After that, we need to understand who is minor and who is major. Now, minor means what? A question may come to your examination saying, what do you mean by minor? As per the Indian Majority Act, this definition is being seen. Now, what does this definition say? A person below age of 18 years under normal circumstances. Under the normal circumstances, any person who is below 18 years, he is treated as minor. And a person below of 21 years, in case of a guardian being appointed for his person or property. In certain cases, the guardian may be appointed by court or maybe by his parents before they decease. So at that point of time, a person below 21 age would be treated as minor. So therefore, in normal circumstances, any person whose age is below 18 is treated as minor, or a person below age of 21 years in case of guardian being appointed for his person or property. So this is the meaning of minor. Major means the person who has completed 18 years. Okay, so 2 marks question would be coming to your examination. What do you mean by minor? After that, effects of agreement with or by a minor. Now suppose if a minor enters into any contract, at that point of time, what would be the effect? What will happen to these contracts? That may be a question. Basic thing, these kind of contracts entered with any minor are absolutely void. Void means they are, say, invalid. They are not lawful. Okay, so these contracts with minors are inoperative. So here we will see what will happen to these kind of contracts. That the first point is, usually it is void. Usually it is void means it is not valid. Usually these agreements are absolutely void. Okay. Now one case had happened in between Mohri Bibi and versus Dharmadas Ghosh. Now what had happened? In this case, minor had mortgaged his house. One minor, he has mortgaged his house. Mortgage means he has taken loan on his house and of rupees 8,000 and was not able to repay back. At that point of time, the money lender or the person who had given money, he filed a case against him that he is not repaying my money what he had taken, and I will seal his house or I will take over his house. At that point of time, the court gave judgment that it is not so that you have entered in a contract with a minor, which is a void contract, because of which you are not supposed to take charge of his house. So this case was dismissed. According as per this case, that is Mohri Bibi versus Dharmadas Ghosh, wherein the minor was about to pay 8,000 to the landlord, which he did not, because of which the landlord put a case and the case was dismissed because he was a minor and he had not to pay the amount also. This amount was could not be recovered under section 64 of the 64 and 65 of the Indian Contract Act. The 64 and 65 section says that any Indian Contract Act 64 and 65 section says that any contract entered with a minor is void. So as per that contract or that sections, this case was dismissed, and in this case the money was not recovered from the minor. Okay, so this is the first point. What happens if we enter into a contract with a minor? After that, the second point is no ratification on attaining age of majority. Now what happens? Since a minor agreement is void and it cannot be ratified. Ratified means manzuri dene. Okay, manzuri dene. It is not allowed as per the Indian Contract Act with a minor in terms of minor. Any contract entered with a minor is not ratification. After that, we have no estoppel against a minor. Now, in any contract, if we what we call it as estoppel means pratibandh ghalne kyo pratibandh karne. Now, as per this, the rule of estoppel does not apply to a minor. When we enter into contract with any minor, and after that if we try to estoppel the minor, at that point of time it is not applicable, or it is not allowable, or it is not allowed. So this was seen in case of Lucy versus Sally. In this case, A minor, by fraudulently representing himself to be a full age, induced L to lend him loan. Now what happened in this case? One minor misrepresented his age and took loan of $400, and he did not pay back the amount. At that point of time, the person who had lent the money entered the court and put a case on him and saying, ask this person to be estoppel. प्रतिबंध घालणे, त्या व्यक्तीवर प्रतिबंध घाला असं त्यानं दावा केला. So at that point of time, the case was dismissed because he was a minor, and the rule of estoppel cannot be applied to any minor. Okay, so this is first thing. Second thing, the case whenever we are entering into any contract with a minor, those contracts are void. They are absolutely void. It cannot be considered as a valid contract. After that, the next point is no restitution. No restitution means in case if a minor has fraudulently acquired or fraudulently acquired somebody's property and it is found that he has done fraudulently, so court will not allow these people. The court may order the minor to give back his or her property. After that, we have a minor beneficiary. A minor cannot be a promisor. Now here, as per law, a minor cannot be a promisor, but he can be a promisee. He can be a beneficiary. Okay. In case of Srinivas versus Raghava Chandraya, this was seen that a minor can be a beneficiary. He can take the benefits out of that. After that, we have a minor partner. If we admit a minor as a partner in partnership firm, it is not allowed to take him as a responsible partner. But in case we want to add him as a partner, we can add a minor as a partner only in terms of beneficials, but he is not responsible for the losses or liabilities. So if a minor is partner, as per section 30 of Indian Partnership Act, a minor is only responsible for benefits, not for the liabilities. So this is another thing what happens if we enter into contract with a minor. After that, if we appoint minor as an agent, at that point of time, a minor can be an agent, but we cannot hold him responsible for his negligence or if he is not doing his duty properly. But we can appoint him as a minor agent. So these are the effects what happens if we enter into contract with the minor. So this is a very small part. A 2 marks question may come on this, or a 5 marks question, what are the effects of agreement with the minor, or what happens if we enter into agreement with the minor. So at that point of time, if you will explain these points, you will get 5 marks. So in this class, this much. Rest part we shall see in tomorrow's class. Thank you. Good day.